what are 3 techniques we can use for doing rhythm on the jaw harp? 1 is going to be striking, 2 will be articulation, and 3 will be breath. Now there's going to be different styles and variations I'm not going to show here. We're just going to go over 3 main ways you can build rhythms on the jaw harp. Now the first one, and one beginners often start with, myself included, was plucking. When we pluck it, we create a rhythm with the strikes of how we're striking it. I'm just going to hold my breath and do a simple rhythm. The next is going to be articulation, what we can do with our tongue. And I'm just going to start with ticks and talks. And now notice, we are working with a rhythm with how we're plucking in between our articulations, and we're working with our articulation. So if you're playing the jaw harp, you're automatically going to be striking it. You can add the articulation. And it doesn't have to be that. It can be anything else. And there I'm adding breath in there as well, which will be our next stop on this. The next, we can use our breath to build a rhythm. Open and close. And here we're working with the striking rhythm on top of it. Anytime you're playing the jaw harp, you are going to be striking. Now, if you have a harp with a longer sustain, sometimes you can get more breathing or more articulation out of each buck. So these are the 3 main ways, and there's a bunch of different styles and a bunch of different things. Possibilities are endless of how you can combine these, but we have striking to create rhythm, we have articulation to create rhythm, and we have breath to create rhythm. And there are going to be variations that blend the two between articulation and breath when we're already striking, so we're blending 3 things. We're start using breath where that are layered on top of the striking. You can also articulate not just with your tongue and with your breath. We can start articulating with our lips. Now watch what happens when I'm playing that same sort of rhythm with just my lips coming off the jaw harp and holding the breath. Now, what happens if I start combining that bringing my lips off and holding my breath with some breathing in and out? Watch what happens. Here, I'll start breathing in and out, and then I'll start bringing my lips off. So we're layering rhythm on rhythm. I can also layer in that bringing my lips off with the articulation of my tongue, that bringing my lips off. And I can also layer in breath, articulation, and the striking all together while bringing my lips off of. And there I added strikes toward myself, inward plucks, and also strikes outward as well. You can also, another way we can add in there, I don't know if this is offshot of striking, we have muting, which we're striking the trigger, we're also muting the tongue. If I was holding my breath, it'd be like, I'm striking the trigger here, and I'm also striking the middle of the reed or the middle of the frame and the reed to create rhythm. There it is without the breathing. If I was breathing. If I was articulating. If I was breathing, articulating, striking, muting, and bringing my lips off. So those are just the 3 main categories, and there's going to be a bunch of variations and a bunch of combinations in between them of how we can create rhythm on the jaw harp. 1 being striking, 2 being articulation, and 3 being breath. And almost always you're going to be striking with your jaw harp play, unless we have a harp with a draw start. Then we can play it without striking it. Check this out. This morchang has a reed that sits slightly in front of it. So when I breathe in, the rested position is in front. So when I breathe in, it pulls the reed back, and then it tends to spring forward. So I can play this with using one of my articulations. No striking. I'm going to use my one articulation of bringing my lips on and off and breathing in. I'll breathe in, let my lips off, and I'll breathe out. And I'm playing that same type of rhythm there. And I did get this technique from Neptune Chapotin of Third Pulse at one of the Jaw Harp festivals. We were talking about draw starts, which are the breathing in, and how he was able to sustain them endlessly. And he told me that if you breathe in, let your lips off, and breathe out so you don't kill the harp, you can kind of get that endless draw there. So we can use our draw start as another way to build rhythm with the articulation of bringing our lips off. And then we can go back with that same draw start harp, and we can do our other 2 styles of articulation. We've got the breath and we've got our bringing our lips off, but let's bring the striking back. And throw that draw in at the end. I can throw in the mute. I can throw in the tongue articulation. We were using our lip articulation. We can use our tongue articulation. And throw in a draw star then. And if you, on this, since we're leaning heavy on the breathing in, on the in-breath, on that draw start, a lot of times your lungs fill up too much with air, so we can go back to our articulation of bringing our lips off of it to sneak a breath out so that we can equalize the air, because you can't breathe in endlessly. You got to sneak them out breaths out as well. So those are the 3 main styles of articulation. And we might have even branched into 4 styles as much as we were blending them together. I don't know. Categories are a human construct anyways. A big thank you to Mark Groudon, my Jaw Harp teacher, for in the last Jaw Harp meet group, he talked about 3 ways to build rhythms on the Jaw Harp. So a big thank you to Mark Groudon. And here's his contact. If you ever want to do the Jaw Harp meet group, it's markgroudon@gmail.com. That's markgroudon@gmail.com. If you ever want to get in on the live Zoom calls for Jaw Harp meet group, which meets on Wednesdays. Anyways, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more harpery. Make sure to keep your harps clean and keep them dry and keep them old. And most of all, be good to each other. And also, on your jaw harp play, if you're going to be practicing these ways to build rhythm, I encourage you, practice building a rhythm, but also be playful, because being playful is being creative. And it's called playing the jaw harp for a reason. So when you're playing it, have fun. I love y'all. Harp out. Harp